we learn from mistakes, right? Guess what? You don't just learn from making your own mistakes. You learn from other people's mistakes too. That's why teachers are so smart, because we grade stuff all the time. I guess that's not really true. I know some teachers that aren't that smart. But anyway, so today you are going to take on the role that I am taking. And you are actually going to, you've got a student's work, a series of problems. And you are going to actually take on the role of the teacher, where you are going to determine what exactly are the mistakes that this kid has made. Okay? So everybody turn your attention to this. Actually, grab a highlighter first, because we're going to use a highlighter for the first step. I'm going to model one for you. Okay? So step one, take a highlighter and check their work. Okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to do exactly like I do. If you see a mistake, you're going to highlight it. Some of these problems have one mistake. Some of them have, hey, I know you're doing something different. Keep it down just a tiny bit, please, and thank you. All right. So some of them have one mistake. Some of them have multiple mistakes. And actually, some of them have no mistakes. All right. Your job today is to figure out which one is which. So step one, I always go through, this is exactly what I do as the teacher. I go through and I look up and I just go step by step. So let's start with, don't write what I'm writing right now. I just want to get your attention right here. What was that student attempting to do when they did this step right here? Why would we do a -2? Like, what do you think that student was trying to accomplish?
Oh, I see what he did wrong. She did.
Okay, she, he, whoever. What were they trying to do? Yes, ma'am. Okay, so they were trying to get rid of that 2, right? Do we cancel out a minus with a minus? We do not. -2 and a -2 aren't going to cancel each other out because they're not opposites. So the first thing you should do is look at their first step and be like, oh, we should not have subtracted. And then out here to the side, what was their mistake? I'm just going to, this is what I would write on one of your papers. I would say, don't cancel -2 with a +2. Don't do that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, so step 2, it says, what mistake? So kind of pretend you're the teacher. If you were speaking to this child, what would you tell them? Oh, they don't cancel out a -2 with a +2. Believe it or not, the research really does show, even by looking at other people's mistakes, you get smarter and you learn from those mistakes. And some of the research says you actually learn better because it's less stressful to pick on somebody else than it is to look at your own work, right? When you make your own mistakes, you get a little stressed out. But in this case, you're just looking at somebody else's work. So for step 1, we know that that's where their mistake is. Now, there could be more than one mistake. So let's go through and check the rest. If I were to grade this, so let's check their math, because, man, that's where we always have a lot of issues. So first of all, don't write what I'm writing. I'm just trying to get your attention with that blue. Okay, so we obviously know that won't cancel. Let's see if they made another mistake in there anyway. Even though it's the wrong number, check their math. Is 14 minus 2 12? Did they do that part correct? They did. Yes. They put the wrong number down, but they at least did their math right with the wrong number. When I grade your papers, this is exactly what I do. If you have the wrong number, but you still did the math right, I give you partial credit, okay? I'm going to take off for the fact that you did a -2, but I'm going to give you credit for the correct computation. So far, no other mistakes. Okay, why did the student do that? What is that next step? What is that 2 there for? Why would they put a 2 there? With the line. Why would they divide by 2? What would be their reason for that? Because we're multiplying right here, right? So did they do that part correct? They did. Okay? So far, the only mistake we found is that they didn't cancel the -2 with a +2. And then check their math. 12 divided by 2 is in fact 6. So the only mistake this student made, okay, write a Post-it note, please. The only mistake this student made was just canceling a -2 with a +2. So that's the only thing I'm going to highlight, is just that mistake. Step 3, solve it with the correct solution. When you get your papers back, you see that's what I do for you. I show you what you should have done. So we're going to fix that -2 with a +2 on both sides. So that's going to cancel. Leave you with 2x. 14 plus 2 is 16. Divide both sides by 2. So all the other steps were right except for that +2. So this is your task, is to grade it. You're the teacher today. So highlight the mistakes that you see. Pretend you're the teacher. What would you tell that kid to do? You don't cancel a -2 with a +2. And then finally, solve it correctly. I will tell you there are some that are correct. So that's part of your job too, is to figure out which ones are correct. And this really does make you smarter to analyze somebody else's mistakes. You really do learn from it, okay? Except, again, it's just not as scary because it's not your mistakes. So I'm going to shut up for a minute, give you the opportunity to try problem number 2 using problem number 1 as a model. What do you think you need to have here? I'm going to come back and get the rest of you in a second. Look over that kid's work. What did they do wrong, if they did something wrong at all? And I'm going to be back. So, real quick. So, first of all, what were they attempting to do? Don't write what I'm writing. I'm just trying to put what were they attempting to do with the -3 there? What are they trying to get rid of? They're trying to get rid of a +3, right? Do you get rid of a +3 with a -3? You do. So there's nothing wrong with that. I'll be there 1 second, honey. Nothing wrong with that. Did they do -3 on both sides like they were supposed to? Yeah. They did. Okay, so nothing to highlight there. So the next thing I would do is I would look at their math. I would check their calculations. So here, those 3's are just going to cancel each other out. So that's why there's nothing written down there. So that part's fine. We had an x over 6 that we needed to bring down. So that part's all good. So check their math. -18 minus 3. Let's see if that's, a lot of the time computation is where we make a mistake. Is that part correct? No. It's not. If you're at -18 and then you go down 3 more, you're even more broke, folks. That's -21. Okay? So let's check the rest of their math. So we're going to highlight that one because that's one mistake. So what did they do wrong? That's where you're going to write your explanation. -18 minus 3 equals -21. It does not equal -15. So if you were to explain to that student, where did it go wrong? That's where it went wrong. We did -18 minus 3. We should have gotten -21. Not -15. Now, let's see if they at least did the right calculations with the wrong number. Okay, why did they put this little 6 out here to the side?
Because it's times 6.
Why are we trying to multiply 6?
Because the line equals.
Line means division, correct. So did they do that part correct? Yes, they did. Nothing to highlight there. They didn't make a mistake. You do cancel out multiplication. You cancel out division, my bad, with multiplication. And that does leave you with just the x by itself after you cancel out the 6's, so that part's correct. Even though they've got the wrong number, check their calculations. That's what I do with you guys. Even if you got the wrong number, if you did the right stuff with the wrong number later, I'm okay with that. I don't ding you twice for making the same mistake, if that makes sense. So -15 times 6 is, in fact, -90. So the only thing they did wrong, the only thing that we need to write about is right there at that -18 minus 3. It shouldn't have been -15. So your final step is to do what I do. After I tell you what your mistake was, I work it out correctly for you. And I show you exactly where that mistake was and what you should have gotten. So I'm going to replace that negative 15 in that kid's example with a negative 21. Correct. And then I'm still going to multiply by 6. Nothing wrong with what the kid did there. So the correct answer should be negative 126. So this is what I need you guys to do for the next few. So we're going to identify where's the mistake. I will tell you there are some that don't have a mistake. And then we're going to fix that mistake. Show the kid where the mistake was. Okay? So that's all we're doing for these. So very low stress for you. You're just picking on somebody else. But again, I will tell you there are some where there's no mistake. If I were you, I think if it's okay, Caroline, I'm going to call you out like in a good way. I hope it's okay. Like she's going ahead and just working it herself first to see maybe and compare it to the kids and see where they messed up. I think that's a great strategy to do. Work it the way you think you should on like the dry erase or something and see if you can figure out where they messed up. But there are some places where they did not mess up. Let's try to find out where they didn't make a mistake.